Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. All right, we got a few people here commenting on the same thing. Alt season kicked in when the majority least expected it in the previous cycle. This coming from Mickey Bull Crypto. And what he's suggesting is the same scenario is occurring right now. Many are calling for a cycle top while the Russell 2000, so that is US small caps, is breaking its all-time high. Remember, guys, I'm sure a lot of you guys remember this. The Russell 2000 is what a lot of crypto traders are eyeing when trying to signify when that alt season starts. So we've had Bitcoin continue to make new all-time highs, and now the Russell 2000 finally broke out yesterday. We can see the former all-time high on the Russell. This is the IWM iShares Russell 2000 ETF, and the former high was back in November 2021. Same with the cryptocurrency market at that time. We did see it retrace to its high in November of 2024. We did see a big blow-off top for crypto at that time. And now, guys, we are seeing it break past that high. So what is today going to bring? Well, we already can see here, I don't know if you guys can see that. Pre-market, it's hard to see because this is, there we go, pre-market over 250. You guys can see the market is opening already above that level. Market isn't open yet as of the time of this recording, but I'm very interested to see how this market does play out. Let's take a look at the total 3 market cap. So this is all cryptocurrencies excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And as you guys can see here, we have punctured that top level, but not gone above it with conviction yet. Of course, we did have that liquidity event that did set cryptos back a little bit. But guys, this could be the beginning of alt season. Lorenzo's even commenting on the same. The Russell 2000, last time I posted, this Russell was hitting all-time highs trying to break out. It ended up rejecting on the first try, which is quite normal. Now, a couple of 2-week candles later, trying to break out again, printing new all-time highs, all looking beautifully staged. This chart will single-handedly resuscitate your wallet of crap, worthless crap coins. Okay, very colorful language, Lorenzo. So as I just showed you guys, Russell peaking past that level there. We still do need to get up above, and with conviction, I might add, this critical resistance level here. The other thing that we should be looking at is Ethereum, guys. Ethereum does have to break all-time highs too. I mean, historically, that's how it's worked for the alt season to really kind of take off, and Ethereum is still butting up against that former resistance. So we still have time. Fear and greed is now, well, we're back in fear, 37. I mean, we should be feeling a little bit more confident at this point. Market cap is up by over 2.75% at 2.77 up to $3.83 trillion. And the crypto space is a mix today, green and red. XRP is up by almost 2.5%, so that is up to $2.50. We got Bitcoin up also 1.47, and Ethereum, guys, is doing quite well. Ethereum is the one that really needs to get up above these levels in order to indicate or in order to signify an alt season. That is just an unofficial metric, but you know, in the past we've seen it happen that way. This is the XRP chart. XRP has been, well, just kind of moving in this speculative market cycle. This is the daily chart. If I throw that on the hourly, XRP is, well, maintaining this level in here, which is good. I mean, I'm happy to see that XRP is not getting sidelined or, you know, something strange happening with XRP when we compare it to the rest of the market. So it is finding support in here. Of course, that liquidation event did bring the price all the way down as low as $1.58 on this particular exchange. Now we're at $2.50. So, you know, it's not something that we necessarily wanted at this point in the cycle. I mean, we are hoping for higher highs already, I think, a lot of us. How am I treating this cycle? You guys can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. It is only $5 a month, cheaper than what most people spend on coffee every single day. And that is the monthly subscription price, but you got to subscribe and stay subscribed to lock into that price. This is where I'm talking about my altcoins, my XRP, legacy cryptocurrencies that I've held for a long time, like Bitcoin and others. Check it out if you want complete transparency on where I'm going to be selling all my cryptocurrencies. Follow me, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. We've also got Scott Melker here, the Wolf of All Streets, commenting, after the largest liquidation in crypto history, I expected October to be deep in red, but guys, apparently it's still holding on. He says this feels like a small miracle. Let's get this out of the way first. I don't think we're entering a bear market. So that, according to Scott Melker. If I wanted to argue that, I could. BTC going on a 675% run from the bottom. Trump's tariffs, overbought charts, macro headwinds, all the usual suspects, but that misses the point. He says this isn't 2017 nor is it 2021. There's no ICO mania, China mining ban, or FTX. What happened last week was purely structural. And so what he's saying is this kind of event was a bit of a wake-up call, right? It forces everyone to stop, reprice risk, and rethink what's actually possible and broken in this market. So just last week, everyone was talking about the debasement trade, and gold's now over $4,100 per ounce. Investors aren't panicking, they're reallocating. And if gold can rally that hard, imagine what happens when capital starts rolling back into Bitcoin. Meanwhile, public companies are adding BTC to balance sheets. Luxembourg just made Eurozone history. CME is preparing for 24/7 trading, so he's kind of looking at the longer time frame here. Stablecoin issuers are exploding in growth. States are preparing to buy Bitcoin. The S&P is building a crypto index. The smart money isn't leaving; it's building infrastructure. Sometimes the most contrarian move you can make is to stop trying to be contrarian. Everyone wants to be the first to call the top, but markets don't reward ego; they reward patience. So he is long-term bull. The crash didn't liquidate me, he says. It didn't change my convictions. I mean, the long-term outlook for cryptocurrency, I think, still looks very, very promising. Don't forget, guys, we have a lot of tailwinds that is helping cryptocurrency move up over the long term. I mean, right now, though, the market's still trading in spec. I mean, when we look at the charts, we're still looking at a speculative movements for a lot of these cryptocurrencies. They're all moving with Bitcoin. Alts really don't run until Ethereum runs, right? All those kinds of metrics we still do have to pay attention to. Benjamin Cowen here commenting, to those that keep calling for alt season. So this is for all you guys who hold altcoins, okay? In order for alt season to happen, Ethereum needs to go above $5,000 and hold as support. So just getting back to that Ethereum chart here, needs to go above 5,000, okay? So what he's saying here is despite Ethereum's former high, this is the new high here, and that's at about 49, yeah, I mean, call it 5,000 for all intents and purposes. And essentially what he's saying is it does need to get up above here and form a base and keep moving to the upside. So 5,000, and it has to hold its support, okay? It means Bitcoin needs to also go to new all-time high levels. The process of Bitcoin going to new all-time highs would make Bitcoin dominance go higher, just like it has all cycles. So let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance, and that has gone, I'm just going to throw that on the weekly. It's a lot easier to navigate Bitcoin dominance on the weekly. Going to get rid of some of this because I was drawing on the chart like a maniac the other day. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance, we did see it go up as altcoins got decimated, but now we're kind of back in this region here. So we saw that correction for Bitcoin. It did go up technically. It's not looking like a very bullish trend to the upside, although Bitcoin, I guess it did go up. So the only way to get an alt season, he says, is for Bitcoin dominance to first go up as Bitcoin goes to new all-time highs. And if that does not happen, then alt season does not happen. So while the gurus sit there yapping about Bitcoin dominance dropping, now they shill their crap coins once again. Just remember, in order to get what they want, they first have to be wrong. So he's not wrong here. The thing with Bitcoin dominance is that this thing can collapse in a second. Remember, guys, this is, I've got the chart here on the weekly, and we have seen routinely from this point in the last cycle, it's only taken another 6 weeks, technically, because this bar is the first bar that entered the 41% zone. So 6 weeks for Bitcoin to just drop, to just plummet as altcoins do rally. So, you know, it's still possible. Right now, it's not occurring, but there still is a chance. Now, the Kobesi letter put out another great post. The Kobesi letter is really kind of knocking it out of the park these days. The big question, what are gold and silver really telling us? Gold and silver prices are also at new all-time highs. This is interesting, something that we really haven't witnessed in these types of rallies before. Okay, this is gold on the hourly. Wow, yesterday we hit 41. Was that yesterday? No, it was Monday. Monday. Yeah, today is Wednesday. If you guys are watching this video on the day that I'm releasing it, that was just 2 days ago, and gold has now hit another new all-time high, 42. Wow, 42 an ounce, roughly. And silver, let's just take a look at silver real quickly here. Silver's also peaking up here over $50 an ounce. So silver did just make this double top pattern, but I have a feeling it's also just going to boom out of there. So gold and silver now make up more than 4 times the S&P in 2025 during one of the S&P's strongest bull runs ever. That is massive. That is significant, okay? They're massively outperforming risky assets during a bull run in those same risky assets, and we generally don't see this. So get this, when safe havens are rallying with risky assets, it tells you one thing. Confidence in fiat currencies is eroding. That is interesting. Everybody is investing in everything. Nobody is holding on to cash because people are losing confidence in cash. And while deficit spending and rate cuts into stagflation are major drivers of this sentiment shift, we believe there is more to it. The market is pricing in at record levels of AI, CapEx, and what will inevitably become an AI war between the US and China. The US will print more money and drive deficits higher with the sole purpose of winning the AI revolution. Gold and silver aren't just becoming more valuable. Confidence in fiat currencies is collapsing. So that coming from the Kobesi letter. When everything hits a new all-time high at the same time, that's no longer a bull market. That's a systemic shift. Wow, powerful words there. So, I mean, that's just another dimension to this entire story here. Okay, we're going to keep moving because, well, I mean, this is bullish for crypto, but we've got other factors too that just keep pushing that narrative. Altcoin Daily mentioning this. Okay, $15 billion Bitwise Matt Hugin. He talks about crypto in terms of the institutional investment, and he says it's like a slow-moving freight train in his view for crypto. Again, someone else saying long-term bull.
What's on the horizon? Maybe some government, maybe finally getting some domestic regulation or clarity on what it's going to look like. Is that what's next for Bitcoin?
So for a short-term catalyst, for sure, progress on the Clarity Act in Congress, if we see that, if the government reopens, would be positive for crypto. But the real bull story for crypto is just the slow-moving freight train of institutional investment. I've probably done a half dozen meetings with institutional investors and financial advisors over the last 2 days. None of them talked about what happened over the weekend. None of them talked about the liquidations Melton talked about. They talked about this need to get exposure to crypto. They're currently on 0. They're going to 5%. That's the big story. It's a slow-moving bull market, but it's a very strong long-term bull market from my view.
Matt Hugin here saying long-term bull market in his view. Remember, the last time we had huge bearish catalysts in crypto, we were getting narratives that were super, super negative from the mainstream media. Okay, that happened first in the spring of 2020, I want to say 2022. And then, of course, there was the FTX thing in November of 2022. Very negative narratives at that time for cryptocurrencies. And guys, of course, the same thing happened in 2017. They wanted us to think it was a scam. And now what Matt Hugin is saying is that now that institutions are on board, now that we have legislation, the narrative is shifting dramatically. Coincidence? I think not. It's interesting that he said that, even though we did get this big liquidation event on Friday, none of those guys were talking about it. Nobody was commenting on crypto being a scam, etc. We also have, the same thing from Dan Moorhead of Pantera Capital. There are certain cryptocurrencies that are going to play a pivotal role, and, the institutions are gobbling those up.
They each do very, very different things. And that's like, we don't have one internet company, right? We have 6 or 8 big ones and then hundreds of smaller ones. Bitcoin's very good at storing money. It's very good at sending money across borders, but it's kind of clunky at doing other things. Ethereum is really good at programmable money, doing smart contracts, but as well, it doesn't process that many trades per second. And then blockchains like Solana and XRP, Ripple's token, they process thousands of transactions per second. So they just really have different use cases. And right now, our biggest position is Solana, but we have big positions in quite a few other coins as well.
So big positions in Solana, other coins as well. Does not mention that Pantera does hold a significant position in XRP, but I think they do. He's just not naming every single cryptocurrency that they hold. And so, guys, we're looking at this seismic shift. 5 years from now, Wall Street, as you know it, will be gone. This coming from BM and our Bulls. And this is a bit of a controversial viewpoint. XTD Ameritrade CEO Joe Moglia, right? He was on CNBC, and here's what he had to say about this shift.
The people that grew up in the Web3 world and the DeFi world really, really are on top of their game. But it's a lot of people in the traditional finance world that still tend to struggle with this a little bit. So if you think about where the future is, 5 years from now, there's not going to be a stock, there's not going to be an option, there's not going to be a mutual fund, ETF, anything that's not in effect tokenized. Stablecoins. 5 years ago, nobody heard about stablecoins. Today, we've got about $280 billion market. And Secretary Bessent had said that two years from now, we'll probably have a $2 trillion market. Ethereum is about 60% of that. So Ethereum's got its own blockchain, and it's got programmable smart contracts that, in effect, can do really complex financial, institutional type transactions, especially overseas, that can be done almost instantaneously today, and that's going to be the way of the future. So 5 years from now, the market that we know it today, the exchanges, 24/7 markets and settlement, et cetera, that's going to be the way of the future. And I'm not sure traditional finance has necessarily quite accepted that yet.
I think traditional finance is starting to accept it, but I think he's right there. It's growing pains. We don't see it yet as a mainstream option for traditional finance, and maybe they are just keeping their head in the sand because they do not want to be rendered obsolete. Moglia brings up some good points, like Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying, stablecoins could grow from $280 billion to $2 trillion in just a few years, and I don't doubt that. I think that's a fairly conservative estimate. And the message is clear. Finance 3.0 is here. 24/7 markets, global tokenization. This is the future. And this is why, yesterday I did talk a little bit more about this ETF theory that Rafa Kahneman was throwing around. If you guys didn't catch the video from yesterday, I do suggest you watch it. I'll link it up here in the top right-hand corner. This is what's going to get XRP price specifically high and stable. And even Vincent Van Cote here commenting on ETFs in general, saying that his position on ETFs was actually changing. Now, he was pretty negative on them before. After many months of holding the position, ETFs will not affect XRP price. So not negative on the ETFs per se, but with regards to XRP price, he says now he's pivoting. I think the XRP ETFs are about to have a massive impact on its price. It will be seen as one of the greatest use cases and potential and become the favorite. BTC ETFs went from $100 billion in size. Imagine if that happened to XRP, which I think it can easily. Scarcity of XRP will be insane. Remember, guys, all of these people, all of these institutions have to hold XRP if they are offering this ETF product. I also think that in the next few weeks, the XRPL will have a much greater volume on the decentralized exchange, the DEX, putting even more pressure on centralized exchange supply. So a gorilla here commenting on this, okay, sounds like an emotional pivot to me. That information was readily available for a long time. If you had a stance to the negative on the face of that, I'm curious to know what changed your mind. Well, Vincent Van Cote doesn't respond to that. Hope you are right, says Cinch Fitz, but not holding my breath on the ETF. So some people here feeling fairly skeptical, I want to say, not optimistic, skeptical about this comment. I do believe we will eventually see a supply shock when things converge, but the market just seems too immature right now. Steve here saying the spot ETFs were always going to create a supply shock. This has been known, so he's taking this as gospel. Look at how many are that are waiting. Imagine each getting 1 billion inflows for the next 1 to 2 months, all supported by the underlying XRP. Your chance to buy XRP is limited. Once this happens, exchanges will be empty. I don't know. Is this going to happen fast? Is this going to take time? I mean, we don't know. I mean, we're assuming the demand is insatiable. We're assuming that a lot of these institutions are just going to clamor to get their hands on XRP. Vincent Van Cote with a follow-up here. Why I pivoted on ETFs. So responding to his first tweet here, I think this is a response. Yeah, he posted this at 6 p.m., and this was a response at 9:44 p.m. the same day. Why I pivoted. Okay, how else do people hold crypto? Think about it, guys. Centralized exchanges like Binance, and who knows which will take a dive overnight. There's warm self-custody wallets, while user-friendly, still lots of people have no clue and how risky they are. Then there's cold wallets, need to be tech-savvy and appreciate seed phrases and security. So we're all cryptocurrency savvy. We know how to use these cold wallets or these warm wallets or whatever. But a lot of the regular everyday folk, they don't want to think about that. They just want exposure to crypto. And so they'll buy an ETF product. What about wills and deceased proving assets as the bank goes, loans, retirement funds, right? So there's that problem too. If you're the only one who has the keys to your crypto wallet and you die, that's it. It doesn't get willed to anybody. You can't access it. So it really only leaves well-established ETFs held under a regular shareholding account, widely known and accepted by everyone. Fund managers, okay, custody, say XRP issue ETF. The custody value of XRP is locked up locked up out of distribution forever. And eventually it will come back to the blockchain when banks offer crypto custody. And Citi already announced it. If you guys didn't catch the video I did yesterday afternoon, I do suggest you watch it. I did talk a little bit about Citi. I will link that up here. And then you know which big boys already play in the sandpit. Yep, Ripple and the XRP ledgers. So very important to note that, guys. These ETFs are going to be super important for the long term. I think, as I was saying in yesterday's video, we are seeing these markets really mature, and the ETFs could be that catalyst to get the XRP price up high and stable. There's a reason why these institutional guys like Dan Moorhead are investing in these cryptocurrencies that solve problems. We will eventually move out of this spec market. When? That's still up for debate, but you can follow me at patreon.com/Working Money Channel for my up-to-date insight on that. I also just want to let you guys know that the Working Money Channel merch store is up and running. If you guys are interested in, maybe purchasing some Working Money Channel merch. Nobody's purchased the Working Money Channel black mug yet. It comes in 11 ounce and 15 ounce. Check it out if you want to help support the channel. Every little bit counts, and I thank everybody who's purchased the merch for their contribution. Thanks so much, guys. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.